Hi, good day. I am Dalia Emperomingan, and I am one of the person who is assigned to discuss about the balance theory by Montrul, Silvina. So together with my partner, Jacob P. Kidlat, we are assigned to discuss about the balance theory by Montrul. So to start with, Montrul-Silvina balance theory. The balance theory of bilingualism purports that early research on IQ and literary attainment supports the view of bilinguals as inferior to monolinguals. It was founded on the false assumption that the effect of increasing the additional language causes a decrease in the first language. In this theory, bilingualism is viewed as a weighing scale. The arrival of a second language tips the balance and negatively affects the development of the first language. There is, inherent in this assumption, the notion that the brain has limited space and capacity to allow for the acquisition and storage of language skills. Commons expounded on the balance theory by drawing an analogy with balloons. He suggested that a monolingual teacher or learner would have one better filled balloon in his brain than a bilingual learner having two half-filled balloons. He further developed this analogy into the SPU or separate underlying proficiency model of bilingualism. However, the balance theory is now generally considered flawed for assuming that the acquisition of two languages is kept separate in the brain and the two balloons of language are quite independent of each other. The balance theory is unsubstantiated, and recent studies, Skotnab-Kangas and Tokama 1976, have shown that acquisition of skills in one language can affect the learning of subsequent languages. Commons further developed his ideas of SPU to further form the common underlying proficiency model of bilingualism. This theory is also known as the iceberg analogy or the think tank model. In her concept of balance, theory means that two languages are used by the child since birth. Also, the adult is one of the reasons why the children learn the second language and contribute to the complexity of bilingual experiences, which in turn can lead to differences in linguistic and cognitive behavior. Therefore, teasing apart different bilingual experiences in neurocognitive studies and replications are important in order to gain a more comprehensive view of how the acquisition of heritage languages also alters cognitive functions. One of the good examples of a bilingual person is the person who speaks two languages like Filipino people who know how to talk both Tagalog and Binisaya due to the influence of some immigrant people. However, throughout the time, some children are losing his or her fluency in the native language. On the other hand, the older a child is when the dominant language is introduced, the less likely he or she will lose the ability to communicate in his or her native tongue or the heritage language. This is because the older the child becomes, the more exposure and experience with the heritage language they will have, and the heritage language will therefore remain their primary language. So that is the idea of Montreux Silvina about the balance theory. Thanks. Any questions?